I'm calling it right now. Versus Pulse Chain. We're going to be talking about this a lot in the next year. We are about to see, not financial advice. Please do not take this as financial advice. This is all speculation. 100%. I feel we are about to see the largest hockey stick you've ever seen in your life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone doing? Just a silly thing for a host to ask because you guys can't reply. Well, actually, if you want to, say so in the chat. What I should say is, I hope you all are doing well. And I mean that sincerely. I hope you're doing well. Let me get the Twitter space going. I might need to wait. Good to see you in her money bags. Let's go. Yeah, I think we are going. I haven't checked the charts in a few hours, but usually if you just zoom out and look at it over the course of a few days or weeks with pTGC, it can be pretty exciting. That's for sure. Bitcoin's at 63,000. Oh, there we go. Okay. Good evening.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Busy day at work. Mondays.
Yeah. Excuse me. Just finished my supper. Yeah. Yeah, Mondays can be that way. You just get you come off the weekend and gotta switch hats. Get my streaming hat on. You get off the weekend and then, like, being self-employed like you and I are, things pile up. Like you might have a pile of notes that you have to deal with, like I do. So Mondays are crash and burn through all the notes and everything that piles up over the weekend. And kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you kind of hit your stride. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, that's how it goes. I used to tackle a lot of stuff on the weekends, but I've been tackling a little bit less lately just as my son's been getting a little older and spending a little bit more time with him.
Okay. Nice. You got to do that with those little guys. Is he walking?
Don't God do it. Want to do it.
Yeah.
I want it.
There you go. Especially when the little guy is walking around. That's it gets fun.
Yeah. No, he is. He's right at that stage. He's walking around, just about to start talking, coming pretty close to it.
Ooh. Yeah. Has he formed any words yet?
He says uh-oh when, like, he drops stuff like that, but that's it.
Okay.
I guess that's his first word pretty much, and he uses it.
Okay, cool. I'm going to send you a private message. In the Telegram. There you go. Well, things are pretty chill today as far as the polls, pTGC and UFO. We're at higher lows.
Yeah, we had a pretty good weekend for pTGC and UFO, so
yeah,
not completely surprised to see a little bit of pullback this morning, but it seems like it got eaten up pretty good, and we just keep moving on. So
yeah,
did a pretty big LP ad today, which was nice. LP ad and burn with PLSX. So roughly, I think over $5,000 of pTGC was bought out of the liquidity pool, and then $5,000 of PLSX was bought, and then obviously paired and then sent to the dead address. So,
Man.
pretty much like a $10,000 LP ad.
Yeah. And I get it. I know why it happens, but when you were describing it, I was like, wow, that's pTGC that could never be in my wallet again. I mean, it can never go into my wallet. Just thinking, I guess, selfishly. What's that?
It can go into your wallet.
Oh, but because it's burnt LP, it's not burnt tokens.
Correct. Yeah. So either you could buy it out of the liquidity pool, anyone can, or technically in general, our token mechanics buy it out of those liquidity pools too, and either burn it or add it back to liquidity so it gets added twice, which ultimately just increases the value, or you end up with it via reflections/rewards from our contract buying out. Because if you think about it, every time a transaction happens, if it's a bot or a human, if it's a bot, like an arbitrage bot, they obviously are having to buy pTGC to then sell pTGC in a different pool. But when they're making that transfer, let's say it's like $1,000 transaction, they're paying that 5% twice. So really, when they're moving that $1,000 around, they have to give up $100. So that $100, when they are doing that buy and then doing that sell, that $100 gets left behind in the smart contract. And then it gets, obviously, some of it gets burnt, some of it gets sent to the holders, some of it gets sent to the stakers, some of it gets added to LP with PLS, and some of it gets sent to the DAO.
Okay, so, and I've heard you refer to burnt LP as LP that we can buy. I just, when I first heard about burnt LP, I thought that the LP is burnt, but the tokens aren't burnt. I mean, can you explain how that works, that I can hold those tokens while the LP is burnt? I don't understand it.
Yeah, so burning the LP, when you provide LP, and you've probably seen this, like when you provide LP with UFO, you get PLP tokens. And the PLP tokens is what PulseX gives you in exchange for your pTGC and PLSX off of what today was. If you're looking at UFO, let's say you went into the DAI UFO pair. Well, when you add LP for DAI UFO, PulseX gives you a PLP token.
Right.
That's a claim check on that DAI UFO based on your percentage of the pool. And obviously it fluctuates based on people buying and selling and stuff like that. But let's say you take those PLP tokens and you send them to the dead address. Well, now you personally, or, for an example, pTGC, when they do these, pTGC can never sell that pTGC or that PLSX, because now it's sent over to the dead address in a PLP into liquidity. But what can't happen is you, like Prairie Banana, can come along and say, I want some pTGC. You can buy that pTGC out of that LP pool, but you're going to have to put your PLSX into that liquidity pool. This is every token that exists on Pulse Chain. You have to, obviously, when you're making a buy, it's a swap. You're giving them A for B. But the thing is it can never be taken out of LP. Now it's locked to be an LP and then burned, making it so like every user now knows that there's going to be that LP there for the entire existence of PulseX and Pulse Chain.
Yes.
And that's the important metric, because when you look at projects as they become successful, like the amount of tokens that are being supplied in LP at the beginning, as the price goes up, a lot of those people actually take their LP as price is going up, because they all were early investors and they have numbers that they're looking to hit. And once they hit those numbers, they then close it and take profits in that way. And then obviously as time goes on, new LP providers come in, some of them leave, but usually it's never as much as there actually was at the beginning if they just let it all ride up together. Eventually, people tend to start taking profits and stuff like that via LP. The unique thing about our system is if you look at our burnt LP and just know that that's never going to be taken. So like with pTGC, let's say it's close to 2 mil. Well, if Pulse Chain, the ecosystem of Pulse Chain did roughly, let's say 100x, well, that 2 mil would turn into 200 mil.
Right.
Of burnt and locked LP. Obviously, that's maybe too much for another protocol because they want, obviously, price to fluctuate. But since our unique design makes money off of our LP and it's not all in one pool, it's spread out amongst 10, 15, 20 pools, we use this LP to actually gain value in our ecosystem. So the larger we make these liquidity pools, the more money that these RBots will have to move to fix the other liquidity pools. Let's say Hex goes on a run and now the price of pTGC in that Hex pair is overpriced because comparatively to all the other pools, the pTGC there is more expensive. Now the arbitrage bots will buy cheaper pTGC and then just go move it over to the Hex pTGC pair and then sell that down, making it to where eventually the prices average out. And there's a small percentage of money that they get to make doing this process. But like we just explained, when they're moving $1,000 around, they have to buy it, then sell it. They're technically giving up $100 to make that happen. And then that $100 goes back to the ecosystem and supports it further on.
Okay. I'm going to have to re-listen to that whole section, man. Yeah, that was good. I'm just going to have to listen to it at my own pace. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. But that's obviously the bread and butter why we keep chugging upwards. Is our utility is based on just markets doing what markets do. A lot of utilities out there actually need a user to use that utility. And that's kind of the funny thing because it kind of just stems back to the same problem, getting people in. Eventually, a project usually runs into the situation where they can't get someone in and then price starts falling. Even when they have a utility, if you can't get a user to actually use your utility, let's say it's a game or a DEX or this or that, if no one's using it, the utility means nothing. With our system, we are capitalizing on pretty much the only guarantee that markets have is they go up and down.
Right. Yeah, we love the volatility in pTGC and UFO. That's for sure.
Yeah, if the markets have a lot of volatility around us, we love it. If Hex goes on a crazy run, even if Hex goes on a crazy fall,
yeah,
that sends a flash through all of our liquidity pairs, and then obviously those markets need to be fixed. And like we just explained, off of $1,000 moving around, we're making $100. So
yeah,
the value that we actually gain on these volatile shifts is quite a bit.
I like it. I love the volatility. I mean, it when we have high volume days, that just means more yield goes into my wallet.
100%. More yield in your wallet, more tokens bought and burned, more LP, it's everything.
Yeah.
If anyone listening has any questions or some additions to add to this conversation, just feel free to raise your hand and come up. Be happy to bring anyone else into this.
Yeah, I think Crypto Bella is in here somewhere, and she might have some questions.
Yeah, if anyone has questions, just feel free to come up. I know that little segment was probably a little bit confusing, so if you do need a little bit more in-depth answers to certain questions, I'm happy to answer them. But what else is new, Prairie?
Oh wow. Well, I was doing a little experimenting this morning, and I think I sent you a screenshot. I might have sent it over. No, I think I put it into the main Telegram. I just went back to, let's see, how did it start? First, I reposted B Roots's tweet from it was actually 34 days ago when he put the costs for the different positions. And at the time, a dolphin position in pTGC was $1,500. And I'd been saving that tweet because I wanted to repost it. Because in the tweet, he says, eventually it'll be $6,000 and then it'll be $20,000. And they'll be wishing you got it when it was $1,500. So I reposted that this morning. And then I was like, I wonder what this token has done in the last 34 days for gains. And I figured out the percentage, and it was something like a 3.25% gain over the last 34 days, average per day. And then I went to ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, I was like, well, when will this token, here's the price right now. This is the price right now. When will it be, if it continues this trend of 3.25% per day, when will it be a penny, 10 cents, and $1? And it gave me the number of days. And so I actually posted that on Twitter. And then, then I was like, well, let's go a little bit further back. And if you go further back to the end of October last year, skipping past that really high run up from the launch, you get an average of 2.77% per day on average. And I factored that out using ChatGPT, to a penny, 10 cents, and $1. And it came up with like similar dates, not close, obviously, because it was less of a percent, but nevertheless, it was an interesting thought experiment. None of it's financial advice. It may never happen, but I was like, wow, we have two different trends, one for the last month and then for the last 12 months practically. And if pTGC continued on either of those trends, we're going to see some significant gains over the next year. And I dropped those little nuggets into a couple of chats. I got a little bit of pushback, and that's fine, but I would like to hear your thoughts on that. One of the comments was, well, what's the liquidity going to look like at that time, and how is that going to negatively affect the price? Is it possible for it to run up that high? But I would like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I don't see our liquidity being much an issue due to the fact that we're paired with so many tokens that are undervalued. I also believe we're undervalued, but obviously we are still doing plenty of X's, probably more than I would say the majority of anything really in crypto right now, besides like random meme coins that pop up and fail a week later. But as far as projects that have been out for a year and keep, obviously growing after a year, I think we're probably outperforming most as far as X's go. So if someone thinks it's a problem, I think someone could just look at the chart and say, obviously it's not a problem. We're one of the only things moving up. But as far as X's, as liquidity gets bigger, the interesting thing about that is we actually don't need to shrink our liquidity for us to get a crazy amount of X. So heavily paired with RH ticker. And for an example, if RH tickers want to do a bunch of X's, that's majority of what our liquidity web is. I don't know what the plan is for this, but they might be pulling those liquidities to shrink them so less capital needs to get injected. Like, this is an idea that a lot of people are thinking is going to happen, right? To make it easier to pump Pulse Chain as they add value in the Pulse Chain, they're also going to pull some liquidity so it's easier to pump. But that doesn't mean we need to pull our liquidity. we're going to get all those X's for just bonding with it at the bottom. So just like how we paired $10,000 with PLSX today.
Right.
Well, now they're forced to drag another $10,000 up with them. If we get another $10,000 in, they're forced to drag that up. Let's say we get more hex, they're forced to drag it up. Everything we pair at these levels, they are forced to drag up with them as many X's as they want to. This goes even for like, some people don't even care too much about the other RH tickers and they just love hex. Like if there's just a full-blown hexagon, they really care about the success of hex. Well, they have our hex pool is our second biggest pool. So if they want to pump hex, let's say another 100x, they're forced to pump that liquidity pool up 100x. Obviously, if the rest of the market doesn't move with it, it gets revalued based on the percentages of our other liquidity pools. But that's kind of the interesting thing about it, with the X multiplier. The X's are actually very, very easy if you have an actual sustainable project. The reason why people don't get to actualize on those X multiplier is because they don't have a sustainable project. They don't have longevity in their project. So they're worried about making a bunch of X's because they have lack of liquidity, but it's like only one person got those X's anyways.
Right.
It wasn't legit stuff. But for us, we're trying to build up as much liquidity as possible because we have a lot of holders. We want not just a couple people to be able to realize gains. We want a good majority of people to realize gains. Obviously, we want a good majority of people to stay in the system too, but they're going to feel more comfortable staying in the system if we have $200 million of liquidity instead of $2 million, right? We don't have to worry about someone else taking that liquidity when there's enough for everyone. But yeah, I'm not worried about X's. You know, if Pulse Chain is successful, this thing just becomes a monster because Pulse Chain will have to, it's all burnt liquidity, drag up pTGC and UFO with it, as many X's as it wants to go. You know, it could be a 10X if PLS is only doing a 10X. Let's say PLS does 100X, like some people believe. Some people believe it's doing much more. But the thing is, since we're bonded with PLS at the bottom, they're forced to bring us up with them. And then obviously we get to do as many X's on top of that or multiplied by that we can do against PLS. If that's a 2X or if that's a 10X or a 100X, you know. Obviously, we saw the last time PLSS went up 4X, we went up 10X against it. So I don't think another 10X against Pulse Chain are the cards, you know. But, you know, if you Pulse Chain doing 100X and us doing a 10 on top of Pulse Chain, that means pTGC holders just did a 1,000X from this point.
Right.
If we're doing 1,000X, we need a lot of liquidity.
Yes, because every reward token is backed by liquidity. And as the value of those tokens goes up, we're going to need thick liquidity in order to exit those reward tokens. I see Crypto Bella
Or
in
not even just the rewards. What's up, Crypto Bella? How are you?
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I was listening to the space through, I think like through Prairie Bananas stream or something, but I wasn't actually in the space, so sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Sometimes it's nice to watch his YouTube video if you don't plan on talking. I'd say it's probably even a little bit more interesting than being in here sometimes.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm learning so much. Thank you. This is a little bit over my head, but it's exciting to learn about.
Yeah, you gotta take each step one at a time. So like focus on one thing that you're trying to learn and focus on learning that part. And then once you kind of think you're understanding that part, I'd say you can then start figuring out the next part of the system. Because I won't lie, the system has tons of moving parts. And if you're just kind of figuring out how advanced systems on pulse chain are working, it could be like a lot to take in. So just kind of focus on one thing at a time. And, you know, as you kind of work through one thing, it should all start to make sense.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good strategy. Bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, definitely.
I do have a question for you, though.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Just as I'm starting to learn everything, can you explain to me a little bit, like, what differentiates pTGC from all of the other fee tokens?
Yeah. In my opinion, every fee-based token, and I think fee-based tokens actually have a bad rep for this reason, is every fee-based token has eventually came crashing down. I'm sure there's some out there that have kind of been chugging along, but I've kind of looked at a lot of them and kind of pinned certain things with them that I believed were a flaw in the design of the fees or the structure of how the fees are delegated out. And I've tried to correct these issues. Obviously, nothing's perfect, but I can give you like a quick rundown of how we structured this fee system and how we kind of thought through how the fee system should be delegated. And then I'll go into the main piece of like how we made it to where volume never stops.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So with pTGC, there's a 5, and just to start there, we went with that because one, it's a decent number, like it's not too small, so you're not getting nothing from arbitrage bots or humans, but it's not over the top to where it could possibly make people turn away. Like,
and that's
let's say you got into the 10% range fee. That might detour a couple people just from it being a little bit too much. So we felt like 5% was a good number. This number also works really well for the arbitrage bots because if the number's too big, there becomes less opportunities for arbitrage bots to take action on. So if you have the number too big and there's less opportunities, then obviously you charge these arbitrage bots less multiples because the opportunity isn't coming up that much. But so with pTGC, we designed it to where with every reward and reflection that's paid out, it's actually getting backed by PLS going into the liquidity pools to back the rewards getting paid out. So I've seen a lot of projects like promise yield in certain ways. Sometimes it's inflation, sometimes it's, you know, fee-based tokens, and they're paying out APY, but they're never focused on actually supporting the APY that they're paying out. So if we keep paying out APY, but we're not actually adding any value into the system, the only place that value can come from is from the chart necessarily. So then the chart starts going down, especially when the buys slow down. So with pTGC, we kind of designed the system to where 2% of the 5%, so that's 40% of the fee, is paying reflections and rewards to the holders and stakers. And then 60%, 3 of the 5%, is going to actually value backing those rewards getting paid out and then backing the chart as well. So even if every person sold every reward they ever got, there's still more PLS and value getting pushed into the liquidity pools to support all those rewards. And I don't really think a lot of people kind of thought that far in depth of justifying the rewards and reflections that they're paying out with these fee structures.
Okay, that makes sense. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, because ultimately, if you just keep paying out rewards, but you don't have any more value actually increasing the liquidity pools, if people start all their rewards and then plus you get a little bit of sell pressure, that equals the chart going down. That's the only place you can actually get value from a. So by actually thinking about how this is paid out and making the fee structure in that way, it helps the chart keep moving in the up and to the right direction, which obviously you can kind of see off of our chart. That's what it's been doing for the last year. So it's been working pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then, but the main piece of it is with every fee-based token that I've ever seen that exist on any blockchain is the fee is for human interaction. So as a human comes in or as a human gets out, they pay the fees. But obviously we know humans are pretty unpredictable. They run off of emotion. A chart gets a little bit red, they get scared. Markets go down, they get scared. They don't want to buy sometimes when the chart's really overbought, and people follow, trading indicators and all this kind of stuff. But sooner or later, people do stop buying. Like, just momentum slows down. You can't convince another person to get in. There's endless reasons. Markets just shift. There's plenty of reasons. But with pTGC, we actually found a way to pretty much still run and function every single day with no human interaction, because we put so much value in this liquidity web. The value of liquidity actually gives the market pools that they get to move money within. And when market makers move money within the pool, we obviously are charging a fee to that for them fixing it, and they're making too, so that's why they're doing that. But since we're offering this service to the market makers, they're forced to obviously pay our fees. It's kind of like people driving on a toll road. If they want to get A to B and that's the only route, they're going to pay the toll fee because they had to go that direction, or if they wanted to go that direction. I've never seen a fee-based token ever kind of figure out this system, and it makes it so our protocol is actually not reliant on the humans to buy and sell our token. The humans buy and sell our token, obviously, because now they're intrigued by this bot system and they see the bot system pushing it up and to the right. But we're not reliant on them completely. And that's the important thing. I think that separates us from pretty much every fee-based token that's ever existed until Pulse.
Yeah, totally. That's really cool. It's always a disaster to be overly reliant on erratic human behavior.
Oh yeah, you see every industry, not just crypto, switching to this. So it just means that we actually figured out something like that, because every industry that's out there is switching from human behavior with AI, machines. You can see any industry looking at how can I get humans out of the mix and put machines into the mix, because they're just more reliable. You can kind of plan on how they're going to act. When they need maintenance, you can kind of adjust accordingly. You don't know when someone's calling out sick the next day. You don't know how their work production is going to be that day. You do know how a machine's work production is going to be, though.
Right. That's really cool.
Was a little bit too much, or?
No. I actually followed that. I just followed that completely. So thank you.
Yeah. Mando or Banana, do you want to add anything to that? She might be ready for the next level or the next question.
I don't have anything to add. Mando?
Hey, how you doing, Bella?
Hi, Mando.
So I would just say in a very clarifying way that it's just very important to understand that the protocol essentially has found a way to generate revenue perpetually for itself that's continually pushed back into the protocol in the exact places that matter in crypto, which are liquidity pools and incentivization to holders. So when you have a cryptocurrency that's a hyper-deflationary cryptocurrency that has found a way to self-perpetually generate revenues that can be distributed to the exact places that it needs to go forever to perpetually add value to the underlying value of the system and pay APY to holders, which is very attractive to all investors, you have something very special there. So that's, in a nutshell, kind of a more simplistic way of talking about it. It's a system that generates revenue that is 100% benevolent toward the holders, not only in earning APY, but also the only thing that matters in crypto, which is liquidity. It doesn't matter how many X's you do. If there's no liquidity, when you want to go buy, your grandma, your mom a nice car, or go pay your rent, or go pay a bill, and you have to worry about, oh, am I going to slam the chart, taking $1,000 out of the chart. So yeah. That is the power of what this is. And, if you just go and look on a weekly or a monthly chart of the protocol, the trend is your friend. So just always draw the trend line from the beginning month to where it currently is. And I do think that Prairie's information earlier, some people will pass that off as just passe, the 2.77% per day or the 3% per day, whatever it is. Let's just say, let's average it down to 2% per day. The fact is that it doesn't matter how awesome tokenomics are, you will get drawdowns because the things that you're paired with can draw down. So if you look at the chart, the largest drawdowns that we have had actually didn't come from market selling the actual pTGC token. The drawdowns came from the RH ecosystem tokens, which were bonded with liquidity going down. So these are opportunities when that happens, because what goes up must come down, and what comes down, if it's not trash, goes back up, right?
Totally.
That is what's so amazing about this. And at the same time, you have this self-generating revenue stream. With every transaction, these tokens are being burned out of existence at a very rapid rate. Almost 12% of the entire supply is gone in under 12 months. So that's almost 1% per month. And that will only continue to become a faster paced system as the RH ecosystem ramps up and the volume ramps up. In September, we averaged $6,666 per day in revenue that came into the system. So that's 6,000. Let's just put it at 7,000. That's $7,000 a day in revenue that came into the system. So if you 10x the volume, that's $100,000 a day in revenue without any human buying going on. Or regardless, it doesn't matter. Whatever the amount of volume is, if you 10x the volume coupled with, human buys and arbitrage bot market maker revenue coming in, it's just a system that the longer you hold these tokens, the rarer they become, the scarcer they become, and the more valuable they become against the underlying liquidity pools that give them value. So with this system, it really is a game of the last man standing. Because as long as this protocol survives on Pulse Chain, and as long as Pulse Chain has volume on it, and we have massive liquidity pools with those tickers and adding more constantly, the system can only continue to do what it's programmed to do, which is generate revenue, pay holders. When you pay holders, those rewards also take pTGC off the market. Those tokens are no longer on the float available in liquidity pools. So every day when I log on to my UI and I've got hundreds of thousands or millions of pTGC in rewards, those are rewards. Those are tokens that you, Bella, can't buy because I'm not selling them. Those are rewards that every single time all holders and all stakers. So in addition to the ones that are being bought and burned out of existence that no one can ever purchase, you also have rewards that are going into strong hands of longer term holders. And that's why over time frames, the chart just keeps going up, because you can't have high demand with limited supply on a hyper-deflationary asset with a self-generating revenue stream that constantly buys and burns the tokens out of existence, gives them to strong hands, and then adds liquidity to keep doing it all over again without the token price going up. Now, somebody can sell 50 Gs into the chart and short-term tank the price. But over a trend line and over time frames, mathematically, the price in USD of the pTGC token is forced to go up. Now, lastly, right now, we are in a very interesting position because Pulse Chain is at 4 zeros and a 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 7. And Pulse X is at 4 zeros and a 3 something. These are about a 2x or so away from the sacrifice prices that people paid when people entered the sacrifice rate prices. So that means that the underlying DEX token and the underlying Pulse Chain native coin, they're still on a massive discount. At some point in the near future, that discount will be gone. And then we'll go from 3 zeros and a 1 to 3 zeros and a 2, 3, 4, 5. And when that happens, you're going to have a complete revaluation of the underlying liquidity pools of the pTGC and UFO ecosystem. So if you're sitting on a cumulative $5-6 million LP and the RH ecosystem does a 10x, you no longer are sitting on 5-6 million in liquidity that only pTGC token holders have access to. You're now sitting on 50, 60, 70 million dollars of liquidity. Comparably, when you look at the biggest ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, for example, SHIB, currently at about a $12 billion market cap, has about $30 million in liquidity. So people who are getting into pTGC, into the ecosystem now, are doing so before what I call the great revaluation. And all I mean by that is that when Richard Hart moons his ecosystem, those very tokens are the very tokens that we own as pTGC holders in our liquidity web. And when those tokens are revalued, people are going to look back and wish to God that they had been purchasing these tokens, because now we're not staring at 3, 4, 5 million in liquidity. We're staring at 40, 50, 60, 70 million in liquidity. And only pTGC tokens can go into those pools to take that money out. So it's a very unique system. It's never been done before on any blockchain. You couldn't even do it on many different blockchains. And the opportunity is solely on Pulse Chain in the sense that you're looking at a full system state fork of Ethereum. It is 100% decentralized. It is more decentralized than Ethereum. You're talking about a founder who is a massive name in the industry, whether you love him or hate him. He's well known. He's fighting the SEC. He's a billionaire. And the system is undervalued currently, in my opinion, only for a short amount of time left. So there's a window of opportunity here, and everything I said is not a forward-looking statement. It's financial advice. I'm just telling you mathematically how it works.
Yeah.
And so looking back,
this all makes me really relieved and grateful that I am in right now, and I don't want to be one of those people that has to feel that regret. So that's awesome.
Yeah, well, just imagine Pulse Chain, goes from where it is now and does a 10x, which is absolutely nothing in crypto, right? If you looked at Cryptographics, his video on the amount of X's Pulse Chain could do that he released a couple weeks ago, a 10x is just laughable. It's like a fart in the wind, right? So it's a very exciting time. But most people, look at how many people are in this thing. How many people are in here? There's 10, 20 people in here. This thing should literally have hundreds or thousands of people in here.
I agree.
That's the opportunity you have. That's the opportunity because it's Richard Hart, because it's Pulse Chain, because of bullshit false narratives about the ecosystem that people don't really have the credible, real information yet. That's the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, everything that I am hearing and learning just confirms, why everybody is so excited about this. So thank you to all of you. Thank you for that explanation. It's very helpful.
It's nice to have you here, and anything you need, just let us know.
Okay, will do.
Crypto Bella, I will send you a link to the graphics video that Mando mentioned.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Like, for example, today, I don't know if you watched, but today, $10,300 in PLS, which was 200 million pulse, went toward buying pTGC off the market and buying Pulse X off the market. And then it was put into the pTGC Pulse X liquidity pool. So what does that mean? That means that another 200 million Pulse chain today was used to inject more liquidity into a massively undervalued RH ticker and paired with pTGC, and that PLP token that controls that liquidity was burned, meaning it was given to the protocol. It was given to the pTGC token holders. So you were given it, I was given it, everybody who owns it was given another $10,300 of undervalued LP today from the system. It wasn't from humans, it was from the system, right? Now, yes, some comes from human buys, some comes from bot activity. But regardless, the point is, when that pulse comes into the system, how is it being used? And in crypto, that is generally the problem, because you have a lot of people that are very greedy and they don't think about the people, they think about themselves. But with pTGC, since day one, 100% of every dime that's ever come into the system, 100% has gone directly back to the users.
That's amazing.
It really is.
I'm trying to come up with a good joke about the crickets in the background, but I'm not sure how to make it work.
They're very soothing, aren't they? Does anybody else care to come up and speak? No, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, everyone? What's up, bro?
Doing good.
What's going on?
Bro, I'm doing good, bro. And yes, bro.
Is that Nick?
I'm doing great, bro. Doing great, bro. How are you doing, bro? I'm the host. Great to see you, bro.
I don't know who that is talking.
I asked him to share.
I just greeted everyone on space. Everyone, good day. How are you doing, everyone?
We're doing good, man. You got something to talk about? You got something to ask or a comment about pTGC?
Oh, bro. Yeah. I can see about that, bro. Because I'm coming. Hold on, bro. Please, my girlfriend is stopping. Hold on, please.
I had something to share today.
Please.
So I got a call on Friday from an old networking buddy of mine here, and we're in the same industry, and he wanted to meet up for lunch and tell me about some business opportunity. And I kind of knew what it was because he told me about it 3 years ago. And it sometimes...
Is there anybody else you want to bring up while he's doing his thing?
I brought Blackthorn up. I don't know if he's speaking.
He was.
If I can hear him or not. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So just relay whatever he's saying. If it
Should I leave?
Please.
You come back?
Yeah, I think.
Nobody's talking.
Yeah, Blackthorn was talking. I think Blackthorn, perhaps you need to drop out and come back.
Okay, bro, I'm back, bro. Bro, can I proceed, bro?
Yeah, please do. Please go ahead and proceed. Otherwise, we're going to bring you down, man.
Okay. Definitely, bro, man, about this token, bro, because definitely you can check my channel. We also call different token, but this is somehow special, bro, because my wheels, I send this to my wheels, and you know, like it seems the potential the token has with the team. The teams are holding a lot, and definitely the teams may sell out, bro, because I just want to ask you, in case, man, the token is a long-term project, because this is the technology of the first main coin with pTGL, bro, man. This is so looking bullish, man. They call this bull run, man. In our market, man. In our market, when I really call, man, bro, man, this is called bullish.
Yeah, you're not making much sense, at least to this English speaker right here, me.
Oh, bro, I'm really sorry, bro, man. I'm really sorry, man. I'm also a huge caller on Telegram, bro. I'm also a huge caller on Telegram. I call for free sometimes. Sometimes I really call, man, bro. But this.
Yeah. All right, Blackthorn. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, man.
I think he wanted to share something. I just don't know what it was. So.
Yeah, I'm just suspicious.
Okay. Well, I had a old networking colleague of mine reach out and want to talk about some business opportunity, and he was going to share this app that you buy gift cards to stores, and if you buy the gift card, you avoid the banks. You don't make the banks rich, and you make the money. They don't make the money. And he was talking a little bit about it, but I knew what it was, so I kind of cut it off real quick and started talking about this instead. And for 45 minutes, I just talked about this. And he said, "I've never heard of that. What are you doing? How do you do this?" And I talked to him about pTGC and how it's burning coins and then putting stuff in the liquidity pool and then burning that. And then there's rewards. And so you're constantly earning money every day in the system while it's deflationary. And that was just kind of mind blowing for him, because his whole idea is that, well, the thing he was trying to sell me on was about getting out of the banks and being your own, making your own money, doing your own thing. And after, I knew what it was, so I kind of cut him off, but I'm repeating myself here. But at the end, I send them all these links on Twitter that here's the stuff you need to get into. Here's what you need to learn. And I actually send them to Cultivate Crypto's course, because he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know. He says, I have a Coinbase account. Is that good enough? I'm like, no. Money never stays on Coinbase. That's just an intermediary. If you stay there more than an hour, you're doing something wrong. And so, I don't know. I got a new onboard, at least in crypto, and he'll eventually make his way here if I keep talking about it. But he wanted to show me a business opportunity. When I showed him this, he dropped his other thing and just listened to me the whole time about this. So just a neat thing to spread the word.
That's good.
It's a lot easier conversation to talk about this than it is freaking gift cards, man.
Yeah. Yep. And it was fun. And I walked away from that conversation going, you know what? I know what I'm talking about. I've done this for years now, and I've studied this for years. I should make a crypto YouTube channel and get out there, but I don't have time for that. But I was kind of telling myself, I think I'm ready to take the next step, at least in educating these things.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with my dad. I got him into UFO and pTGC, and I sent him a screenshot of his wallet and how it's looking, and he says, because we know how much he put in, obviously. And he's like, yeah, I think maybe I'll pull that out. And I was like, well, Dad, you can do whatever you want to do. It's your money. However, pulse chain is 50% below sac rate, and we're just this side of a bull run. You might want to leave it there and let it grow. Because he only has, I think he's got somewhere between 3 and 6 X's. If he had a bunch more X's, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed. And he's a what do you call that? A generation. He's of the greatest generation. He's a baby boomer, and they're famous for exiting on a 2X. So I'm just trying to. I'm not standing in front of him between crypto and my dad, but just advising him. I think the boomers are famous for exiting on a 2X, and I just was coaching him to, don't do that, Dad. Don't do that. Because that.
Well, if he's gonna do it, Prairie, just teach him the law of meme coins. Just tell him to pull out his initials in a little bit and leave the moon bag. And he won, and he's out, and he got all the money out. And just let it ride, man.
Yeah.
Let it ride.
Yeah. That's also good advice.
Let the rest ride.
Let the what?
Let the rest ride.
Yeah.
That's how boomers think. You're right. That's how boomers think, man. They don't want to lose their money, right? So if you can get them to a point where they're in good games and they can pull out their initials plus some profit and let the rest of the bag ride, it gives them some peace.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. I'm just looking at what would be left after he exited with his initials, and from my perspective, I'm like, well, that's a start, But maybe I just need to adjust my perspective.
Well, that's a gambling mindset I hear from people who go to Vegas a lot. Is that they'll put 1,000 on the table. If they're up 3, they take the 1,000 back out, put it in their pocket, and say, "Okay, the rest is house money."
Mm-hmm.
Just something I hear a lot, and people
with
talk about it.
99.9% of this shit,
Yeah. And you're right. Almost all of it is gambling because it doesn't have the system to reward you. It's just you're hoping you're not the last sucker holding the boat. And you're hoping you get off before the ship goes down and you get onto a lifeboat. At least because of the waves, it seems so high, 1,000 up, 1,000 down. But that's not how this works here. Because even I've been mentally prepping myself for the down. Once we hit the top of the bull market, I'll take a little bit out. I'm going to let the rest ride. Why? Because as everyone yeets out, they're going to pay me. I'm going to collect even a bigger bag. And then when the next cycle happens, I'll have a bigger bag for the next cycle. I don't need to get rich the next year or two. I'm thinking 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Laws of meme coins is perfect, for people who have concerns. You don't want to stress out, Pops. I would, if it's my dad, I'm telling him, oh, hell no, you aren't selling shit, Pops. I ain't letting you sell it. But if he has to, pull out your initials, little profit, and let it ride. Now he's in for free. He won. He totally won. He's out. So
yeah.
It's an easy way to chill the mindset out, Prairie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't, he's not unsettled about it. And he's doing fine besides that. He could put more in if he wanted to, but yeah, he's good. He's good.
My dad asks me every week because he comes over for dinner with my family. Are you up on your crypto yet? Are you up on your crypto yet? Are you up on your crypto yet? It's like, no, Dad, I'm still below sac rate. No, I'm still below sac rate. But this thing is actually mooning well. But that's what he asks all the time because he feels sorry for me that I've done this stupid crypto thing. But I was talking to him today while I was driving to work, and I said, Dad, when I get to the point where I've got a few million in the bank and things are doing well, everyone's going to call me lucky. I'm going to call bullcrap on that because it was stress, it was education,
oh yeah,
it was learning to hold, learning to get into the right things. There's a few people who are lucky. The dum-dums who just happen to buy the right thing and get lucky, but us who are playing here and learning this, we're not going to be lucky. We're going to be the people who invested and sacrificed and ate a lot of bullets, ate a lot of crap.
Yep. How about
So we make it.
how about all the frustration that comes? Like I'm a Generation X, and I'm fine with computers, but some of this crypto stuff, man, it can be overwhelming. And I tell you what, I see what's going on here. I see where this thing is going, and I persist through the muck to get what I want. And I tell you what, the last 3 years since I've been in crypto, yeah, there's nothing, there's no luck in it from my perspective. There's been a lot of hard work and tenacity just to get things where I want them to be.
So when you get to that point where you have your big bag and people go, wow, you got so lucky, you're going to tell them there's no luck here at all. I built this from the ground up.
Yeah. Building the tracker so you don't lose, where track of all your crypto, learning how to use the wallets, bridging over from Ethereum to Pulse Chain and other networks and figuring all that out. I tell you what, it can be overwhelming. And if you don't have a desire to do it, it would be easy to quit and just say,
on the flip side, invert that mindset, because in reality, you take the right people and you can teach them in a few hours and it'll change their life. And it's not that hard when you do it professionally like that, The main thing when you're onboarding somebody is before you start, you have to posture with them in the utmost sincere look in their eyes. I'm going to teach you something and you need to do exactly as I say, or you're going to lose all of your money.
Yeah.
Right. But once you walk them through that onboarding process, man, and you get them set up, it's game over, man. Let me tell you something. A few months ago, my son said, "Hey, Dad, my best friend's mom wants you to help her." And I'm very private. I don't talk to anybody about anything. I like privacy. But I did it because it was my son's best friend's mom. And I sat her down. I did everything, utmost best onboarding process you can get, right? And I tell her, you're going to lose all of your money. Don't do anything without me. Everything was set up beautifully. She started with, about 50 G's. And like 8 days later, she calls me up. I lost all my money. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I said, well, did you do anything? What did you do? And she's like, no, I didn't do anything. I swear I didn't do anything. I said, give me your address. So I go look at the address. She was fucking all over the place, dude. Okay? I could see everything she did in the Explorer, right? And then she sent money from Coinbase to a freaking, basically a launch, an ICO for a meme coin called Slothana on Sol. And so because she sent it from Coinbase, which is not her wallet, the coins got sent to Coinbase. Slothana mooned. It just went straight to the moon. She couldn't sell the tokens. Then another instance is when she clicked on a link on Twitter, and it drained like another $30,000. Oh man, it was just so frustrating.
Did you have that conversation with her to not touch her wallet?
Oh, dude, okay. The conversation wasn't just had; it was at the highest level of conversation had. And what she said to me, she said, Mando, it's 100% not your fault. I didn't do what I told you to do, what you told me to do. I thought I could handle it on my own because I make money on, she's Ameritrade and she does all kinds of other, she's a stock trader. But she just doesn't understand. Crypto's not like that, So it's frustrating because you think you try to help people to change their lives, but they don't listen. And that's the problem in this industry. Just listen to the people who are onboarding you. And then once you're in, listen to the consensus of the good people. The people that always show up, the people that answer your questions, the people that make sense, the people who are transparent, right? And that's why I love Pulse Chain. Because I know I'm not on some freaking rug chain, some VC pump and dump centralized chain. I'm on Richard's chain, you know? And
you did not for money back guarantee?
Oh, hell no. As a matter of fact, once it was over, bro, check this out. Once it was over, she wanted to pay me and also pay to have like this whole, it was like some physical evaluation for like $1,000. It was like she felt bad that she lost all her money because she didn't listen to me. So she wanted to buy me stuff. It was hilarious, man. But yeah, I'm just saying that, guys, being on Pulse Chain, I know what's out there. Being on Pulse Chain is, it's awesome. If you're going to be in blockchain, if you're going to be in crypto, I think that once Richard finally takes care of this whole thing, which it so looks like everything is just, I mean, what are they going to really be able to do? It's a civil case, and he didn't do anything wrong. Everybody knows he did. But I think that once that whole thing is dealt with, and it's this month, hopefully we get some good news. I mean, guys, look at how everything is lining up just beautifully. It's not Solana. It's not centralized. It's not run on AWS servers. There's not one node on an AWS server. You know, it's got tons of liquidity. It's a full system state fork of Ethereum. You can't shut it off. And then you have pTGC launched on top of it with its mechanics, slamming RH tickers at the bottom.
I've got I had a full wallet that I kind of forgot about, and I had about 10K in ETH there that I know I shouldn't have forgot about it, but I found it today. And I'm like, holy crap, I need to get into this. And so I'm going to move it over, and I'm trying to decide if I put it all into one, slowly buy the pTGC, or 50-50 with probably PulseX and UFO and put it in the pool. Trying to decide which one to get me the more yield. And debating on this. It's a good debate. It's a good idea to have. I'm looking for your guys' ideas. Or at least Banana has some yields that he's been tracking, so maybe your input would be helpful there.
Well, for me, I'll answer for me. I can't answer for anybody else. And, you know, for me, it's obviously a sweet situation with both those tokens, right? Yield.
I think we lost you.
I'm always making a choice on what's doing X's. Yield is just the cherry on top for me personally. But I would definitely be doing both.
I'm leaning towards UFO.
You just keep eating those cherries, Mando. You just keep eating those cherries.
What up, brother?
It hasn't had as many X's. UFO hasn't had as many X's, so I'm thinking that's the undervalued play. But I don't know.
You're thinking about either buying pTGC or UFO.
I was going to buy 5K UFO, 5K of PulseX, and put it in the pool to earn yield.
Okay. Do you have any UFO currently that's liquid? That's not LP'd?
A few $100 million, probably.
Yeah, I wasn't asking for the amount, but I'll speak for myself. I like to have a little bit liquid and some LP'd. I'm probably like 80% LP'd, honestly. I'd probably like to have a little more liquid. I was doing some math just the other day, actually with Crypto Kong. I don't think he's in here, and he wouldn't mind me saying that anyhow, but I mean, from what we can tell, the UFO reflections are greater than the pTGC reflections at this for the past 10 days. If you just look at the dollar for dollar, if you just look at the last 10 days, the UFO reflection has been greater than the pTGC by quite a bit. And I don't have everything in front of me to back up this claim, but if you hit me up privately, I can share a sheet with you that shows it. And I might be able to find it right here.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, for me, it's not about just that. It's about the nuances of how all the protocols work, you know? But to be honest with you, they're both phenomenal.
Yes.
So it's just whatever you feel like you don't. In reality, I like to tell people this. When you wake up tomorrow morning, ask yourself, do I have enough pTGC? Do I have enough UFO? If the answer for you is no, then buy some, you know, and use it. Do whatever you're going to do. Next day, do the same thing. Do I have enough pTGC? Do I have enough UFO? If the answer is no, buy some more, right? Because they're so interconnected, and it's one ecosystem.
Yeah. That
we get so in the mix of trying to figure out how we can eke every damn little bit of yield, and in reality, guys, none of that shit's gonna matter when you own these bags. You're just using them. Just stack the shit.
You know what? That's a good point.
Mando is on a cherry diet every day. Every day, Mando's eating a cherry.
Just stack. Look, don't get caught up. Look, don't analyze till you're paralyzed, because ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Man, I'm telling you. What you want is the coins. What you do with them later, you can figure it out, right? At these prices. That's just my.
You're right. Here's a different perspective. I was thinking about this earlier today, trying to decide what to do with it. UFO burns pTGC, but pTGC doesn't burn UFO.
Right.
So if you're talking about the hyperdeflationary side, pTGC is the better play.
Well, and also that, you know, like that the great revaluation I was talking about. UFO has a much larger LP web in terms of USD value, so it turns more volume. You're kicking out more of that 3% because there's a 6% fee. But look at the size of alone right now, Prairie. Do you know what those numbers are? Just UFO?
Yeah, give me a second. I can pull it up. You mean this the total LP and UFO? 5.7 million plus.
Can you hear me, or am I rugged?
You must be rugged.
I hear you, Mando.
Does that mean I need to drop out?
I hear you too. Maybe someone else can.
I hear all of you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, do you mind if I ask the young lady here?
Real quick, Blackthorn. Yeah, I was actually, Banana brought that spreadsheet up to me about the holding reflections of UFO, and I was actually pretty impressed with that. He took a 10-day window of UFO, and just by holding UFO.
You're gonna have to rewind, Zen.
Real quick. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You're gonna have to rewind.
We're running it a little bit, brother. If you can get into a better spot, it's pretty bad.
I got a call. It might have stopped my thing. But what I'm saying was, Banana did a spreadsheet. It was off of 10 days, and he was checking the APY on holding UFO, and it was paying 40% APY during that 10-day period just for holding, which is pretty good considering you're not locking your tokens for time, you're not having to interact with smart contracts, you're not having to possibly get in permanent loss providing LP. Just by holding, it was paying a pretty good yield. And then obviously, if UFO goes on a rip, if you're paired, obviously you would get in permanent loss, right? Let's say it outperformed Pulse X by triple. Well, then you're going to end up with more Pulse X. But if you're just holding it, you would get all those X's and you'd get a pretty decent APY. Obviously, it varies. Like every week varies just depending on how volatile pulse chain is. But I thought that was a pretty unique metric. And I do want to bring up also, as we keep moving up in price, UFO price, your UFO shares are getting more expensive. UFO tokens also getting more expensive, but just kind of keep that in mind. If a bunch of UFO shares really early, maybe it might be a good idea to add to your liquid bag a little bit now that the UFO shares are way more priced. You locked them in at a good price, obviously, early. So maybe it's time to add a little to the liquid bag. It's just a idea.
Could the young lady tell us, her journey with pTGC?
I hear you. I don't hear anyone else, I think, though.
Wow.
I don't hear anyone else either. Is anybody else talking?
Yeah, Recton is speaking.
I am. Wrecked on Hex.
Prairie.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Recton Hex. Oh, sorry, I was muted. I can hear you, Recton Hex.
What about the young lady that spoke earlier? Can you hear me? What's going on here? Can we bring some UFO flying saucers to, fix the connection here or something? Because that's.
I know we need some alien technology for real.
Yeah.
But I was just curious to know, how she discovered pTGC or UFO. Because it seems like she's kind of new to the ecosystem, no? And I'm just wondering if she's familiar with fuels and hacks, or she's new to it. I don't know. I've just never heard her or seen her before. So I'm just wondering,
Yeah,
what's
Bella,
her journey?
how did you find out about pTGC?
I found out about it in a mastermind that I do on Tuesdays. And I think, when is the first time, pTGC, when did you do that, presentation type of thing where you told us about it? 2 months ago or something?
Yeah, I'd say it was about 2 months ago. I try to hop in there every Tuesday and listen in and also answer if anyone has any questions, but I don't make it every time. But yeah, I think specifically they invited me to it 2 months ago, and I think I spent probably an hour and a half just giving the deep dive on pTGC and UFO at that time.
So, are you familiar with Pulse Chain? Were you on Hacks before, or are you just kind of new to the whole?
Yeah, so then that was when I first heard about it. But as usual, I don't know, I get kind of intimidated sometimes and then don't make moves fast enough, you know what I mean? But this time I still feel like I'm in, well before I'll have that feeling of regret that we were talking about earlier. But that's when I first heard about it. And then I ended up learning more from Prairie and just, videos that people sent me and streams to listen to and that kind of thing.
Are you familiar with the phrase, what a concept?
Wrecked. What is this? What a concept. You better be familiar with it.
No, I'm just curious if the lady is new to the Pulse Chain, or how many new people are we getting, coming in? That's what I'm curious about.
There's a lot of new people coming in, and it's going to become a lot more people too. You can't shut Pulse Chain down, man.
Hey, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for this discussion, and I listen you since 1 hour. It's very interesting. I'm in Prussian for some months, and I buy some pTGC, and I think it's relevant to have a UFO token too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a core ecosystem token.
Yeah, for have the maximum payback or reward of this system, it's necessary to add LP UFO, something like LP liquidity providing of UFO and the token of the pTGC.
It's the word. Is it necessary? No, I don't believe that it is.
No, it's not necessary, but for have the maximum. But there is, I think, there is some impermanent loss risk, isn't it? I don't know very well, like you, this system, and I try to study that from France because I'm French, and I try to make some maximum effort to understand the community because we don't have we don't have any influencer or YouTuber who are on this system, and yeah. So, but I see that the pTGC is very powerful, and I have to watch again a video where with the Crypto Coffee who he explained with another one the system. And
do you feel that you have a pretty good fundamental grasp of what makes pTGC what it is?
I think I understand most of the important thing.
Are you talking to me? Because now I'm having the thing where I don't hear anything.
No, it's this. Yeah, I thank you for asking, Bella. It's this Chandler gentleman from France. He's asking something.
Okay, sorry.
Just drop down and come back in because I've had to do it like 5 times.
Oh, okay, got it.
Excuse me, I don't want to cut your conversation you had before with her.
You're good. I just wanted to
Thank
ask you fundamentally where you at with it.
Yeah, you know, I make the sacrifice of Persex 2 years ago, and we wait for the launch of the Perchain blockchain. You know, so a lot of the emotional, you know, up and down. So we have trust in core coin. I follow some YouTubers, you know, of this ecosystem, and now I don't know if maybe it's better if I convert my bag, my main bag of this crypto in pTGC and UFO. You know.
Are you talking about Pulse Chain main bag, like your Sacrifice RH main tickers?
Yeah, because now I have some Persix, I have PLS, I have Atropa, PTP. I try because there is some token theory, game theory. For example, if the Persian make 10x, and you have a little another token on Persian who have a liquidity more less important, it's more easy to make for example 50 or 16x. So if you put your bag in PLS in a little coin, and this coin make 40x, and after Persian make 10x, you make 400x, right?
That is the casino. Yeah, that's how the LPs work. You know.
Yeah.
but once you get those gains, you want to park those gains in real assets.
Mm-hmm. But that's what important. It's to be sure that the protocol and the system and the contract are safe.
You want to speak to that, man? you want to speak to that, Zen?
Yeah, so obviously I heard you talking about the X multiplier system that we were one of the beginning people to even start bringing this up. If Pulse Chain does a 10x, and then let's say pTGC does a 10x on Pulse against Pulse Chain, you're going to make 100x.
Yeah.
pTGC make that 100x. So that's the power of the X multiplier. Is we get the X's we do against Pulse Chain, and then we also get the X's that Pulse Chain does as well. So, hence that's why we're building up our liquidity. And, like Mando was saying, is you want to make sure that those funds are parked in real assets. You can also do this with a meme coin that launches as well. Just most meme coins, 99% of them die, or 99% of all tokens die. So you just kind of need to, in my opinion, find the good tokens on Pulse Chain and, obviously have your positions in what you believe is going to be successful. And going back to what you were talking about is, do you need to do anything? If you're still understanding the system, I do not think you should be trying to add LP or anything like that. You're going to get APY just by holding UFO or just by holding and staking pTGC. That is, in my opinion, more than enough. Don't start doing crazy things with it until you really understand how liquidity providing works and how the system works. It's just my suggestion to you. It sounds like you've got a decent grasp on it, though, how you understand how the X multiplier works. Just when you're trying X's, just be careful, because most people do get wrecked trading, and I definitely think it's very difficult to find the needle in the haystack. Luckily, I think we're in this room, in my opinion, to find the needle in the haystack by being here. But there's going to be a ton of projects that all claim the same thing. If you get used to listening to them, you're eventually going to get wrecked. And just careful with your funds, because we're running into a bull run now, and I do believe Pulse Chain is going to start to be pretty successful, along with pTGC and UFO. So just be careful with the tokens that you do have, because they could be life changing.
And then security.
So security for pTGC and UFO was one of the most important things to me, because let's say we do hundreds of X's, but if your contracts aren't secure, or you're asking your holders to do unsecure things and they get their money taken by contract hacks and stuff like that, it was all for nothing. So one thing with pTGC and UFO is you keep self-custody when you're staking, LP providing, farming, which is hugely important. This innovation alone pretty much beats tons of DeFi protocols out of the water, because none of them have actually thought that deeply. Because when you stake with normal protocols, you actually give up custody of your tokens, which then dumps them in a smart contract somewhere, where if that smart contract gets hacked, your tokens get hacked. You don't get your funds back. So pTGC actually took everything, and UFO, to an extra length to make it to where when you're staking or farming, your tokens actually remain in your wallet at all times. On top of that, both contracts have been audited. UFO and TGC contracts have been audited by Solid Proof as well. And they've been functioning flawless. pTGC just this week is going on to a year, and UFO is going on 6 months.
That's it. That's what is very interesting in Pulse Chain ecosystem. That is, the people are more educated and more aware, more conscious about a lot of aspects of this ecosystem and crypto in general. And the issue for the onboarding of new people is about education and understanding. And what do you think about implementation possibility with the AI agent on your website, on some application for explain to the people how the system works? But for that, we have we need have dev who can implement some agent and learn to this edge AI agent, hold the tokenomics and the functionality, training this AI agent, and after, when the AI is enough training, when he's ready, they implement that, and the people can come and ask any question, and it's time to use this amazing technology in the sense that we want, not the sense because there is another people who use this power technology for against us, against people. No.
Yeah. So you're saying pretty much make a help bot on the website that people could chat into and ask questions. It's programmed to answer with the correct info based on its knowledge, like pTGC, what we teach it, right?
And more with if you implement a very sophisticated AI agent, you can have a possibility to communicate in any language, because the boundary is about language people too, for like me, for example, because it's not easy, when you don't speak English very well, to understand that, it's difficult.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I love that idea. I'm going to start looking into software tomorrow.
You know, there is a guy who is a very it's a singer, very 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 famous. From this group Black Eyed Peas, will.i.am, and will.i.am is on the AI industry since 2012, and he made an application with the vocal agent, AI agent, like other ChatGPT or Gemini, but he fine-tuning his own AI agent with some character, it's very astonishing, very impressive. When you talk with this AI, you felt that she's a human, with humor, with it's very, and I think there is enough in developers in our ecosystem, Persian ecosystem. Maybe they can learn or implement. I don't know why I don't see this functionality, and I think this functionality will arrive soon in few years, and maybe a few months. But if there is a timing with the market movement, synchrone, we can have.
Hey, man, I'm looking at a bunch of potential softwares now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a great idea, man. And
if you have an AI agent on each application or app, or for example, I use a SafePal wallet. A SafePal wallet is very, very smart. Very, there is a lot of blockchain who can take in charge, and coin of blockchain too. But I think it will. Excuse me, my English is not very good.
No, we got the message loud and clear, man. It's
okay.
You make a very good point. I really like the idea a lot. I think that it could be You get it, Zen. That's a phenomenal idea if it's implemented. For any situation.
You can go on YouTube and you ask you tape on YouTube Will I Am on a Cannes festival on something like that. I can give you the right title, but he makes a lot of conference and he is very in the future. This guy is very, very smart, very, very cool, and he has amazing idea, and the technology is already here, but actually the people, the people like us, the average people, the middle class or the people under the middle class need this access who can have the power of this technology, and we risk to have in fact the using of this technology always by the same people who try and who dominate the people, So I will give you the title of this video. Very
man,
interesting.
just send us whatever you got, man. Just DM, Zen or Prairie. Just send it over.
Mando, I had a little bit of trouble following that. Would you mind giving it a quick summary?
Can you hear me okay, Perry?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so basically, he's just suggesting an AI, a voice AI agent that you can program with all the information about pTGC and UFO so that when they go to the website or just want to interact with the community and learn, obviously, you've got AI that can talk back to you like it's just a regular human, basically over any topic. And it learns as it goes, right? So,
interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been doing something similar to that, actually. I uploaded both white papers, pTGC and UFO white papers, to ChatGPT, and I reference it. I asked Chat, I said, Chat, do you remember the pTGC white paper? And it says, yeah, and I can ask a question. And another thing I've been doing with AI is I loaded ChatGPT onto my phone, and I've been having it like teach me or try to teach me about LP. I'm like, ChatGPT, can you teach me about LP from like an elementary level, liquidity, from like an elementary level up to, whatever expert. And it's like, yeah. And I said, just teach me. Start by asking me basic questions. And it's asking me questions, has me giving answers. And then the idea is that it builds up, as I start answering questions correctly. But, you can literally use ChatGPT or maybe other AI platforms for things like that. You can upload white papers and then you can ask questions about the white paper. You summarize the white paper in one paragraph versus the whole sheet. You can do all kind of stuff with. And I like that. I like the idea of building it into the website, of course, because then you don't have to, it's all in one place, obviously.
I think it's just good just the concept of AI utilization moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, Ty built a bot, I think like a year and a half ago, and I answered about 100 questions about pTGC for him to teach the AI bot about pTGC, and he was working on it to pretty much exactly what that guy suggested. We were kind of already in the process of it. I could follow up with him to see kind of where he stopped and see how far he got. I don't know if he hit a roadblock or anything, or if he just kind of got demotivated from, obviously just doing it on his free time and stuff like that. I don't know, but I can follow up with him to see kind of what happened with it, because he was kind of working on that idea exactly. He was making it to where it was a Telegram bot, though, and where anyone could like call action of the AI in Telegram, and then the bot would obviously answer anyone's question when you called the bot. They could ask any question. It was supposed to know everything about pTGC, so humans didn't have to answer for people when they had questions. They could just call the bot to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he got pretty close. But yeah, I figure out a way to put that on the website. I love the idea of being on the website. obviously he definitely didn't go as far as making it multi-language, but maybe that part is really easy, like to just get it to register what language they're talking in or typing in, answer the question back to them in that same language.
Yeah, I mean, because how frustrating is it? Think about it, man. It's a global blockchain. It's a global currency. And how frustrating is it? You're trying to learn and like it's not in your language, right?
Yeah.
I could not imagine trying to do that.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah, and then another thing you could do with that ChatGPT or the AI is you could upload both white papers, and then you could ask the machine, you know, what else can be built? You know, a lot of times things come in threes, and I'm not suggesting another project, although I think there probably will be stuff built on these two protocols. But the possibility exists that you could ask them that the machine could come up with a third project, which is an interesting thought. That AI is extremely intelligent. It just has to be told what to think, which is funny.
Not really intelligent, but apparently intelligent, because the AI have a lot of information beyond how we can imagine, and his rapidity of reflection, of not reflection, but it's algorithmic. Actually, it's not really. I don't know, but because the dev of AI of Google say, I think she's sentient. She have consciousness of them. But and after he was to be thanks by Google, he left of the Google. You know about this guys who create Llama, the AI of Google. And he have a discussion with his AI who create this AI, and he have a dialogue with this AI, and some part of this dialogue go on the Twitter, and let's appear that this AI have a conscious of them, but officially it's not possible. It's not launched, but maybe the technology arrived at this level actually. But the application who is disponible actually, they are not really general AI, just AI like ChatGPT for give some service about all that we know about, but and they looks intelligent, but it's not really intelligent like us, like human,
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody else, Zen, with hands up or questions?
Yeah, no one else is up, and I was about to say I'm pretty much running out of time here. If no one has any question.
Okay. Yeah, Bella sent a message, and she wanted to thank everybody for the interaction and answering her questions.
Yep, no problem at all.
All right, guys, we'll meet.
Literally what we do this for.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. We'll be spacing again Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Sounds good. You guys have a good night. I'm going to take off.
All right. You too, guys. Have a good week. follow him. That was cool. Oh, it's still live. Yeah, that guy, when I dropped out of the Twitter space, says I wasn't following Shanty, that French gentleman that was talking. So I'm following him now. Hey guys, thank you so much for showing up, participating. Appreciate the comments. I got one last comment. RRP crypto expert says hi. Well, hi. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night, and perhaps we'll see you again on Saturday.